Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our very first session of History for Homeschoolers in our Texas History edition. Well, as I did earlier, I talked a little bit about something called the Interactive Notebook. And what I wanted to do today, before we get started in our actual looking at Texas history, is I want you to get your notebooks out, and I want you so that you can get them ready to take notes. Because this notebook is going to be your proof that you actually had a class in Texas history and that you know something. That's what the whole interactive notebook is all about. So, as I told you before, you needed a simple spiral notebook like this one, and it doesn't have to be real fancy or anything, but you need to have at least one section that is completely dedicated to nothing but your Texas history notes. Okay? So the first thing we do is we open up our notebook, and on our very first page, we're going to write on our very first page our name, Texas history, my name, Mr. Williams. And we're going to use up this entire page to do that. And in doing that, this is our very first project, if you will, for this particular class. You know, sometimes students like to write their names or their information really small on a page. The problem with that, of course, is that it becomes really difficult for old fellows like me to read. So what I'm going to ask you to do is as big and as bold as you can, that you're going to take a few minutes and you're going to write Texas history, your name and my name, and maybe even today's dates on this particular page. Use up as many colors as you want, use any kind of writing that you want, any kind of writing ideas that you want, and you make up this page. That makes this part of this book yours. Okay? So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up our page, and on our very first page, it is the back side of this page. Okay, so this becomes our very first page, and at the top we're going to write table of contents. Okay, and then we're going to number this as page 1. Then we have page 2. We're going to number it page 2 of our table of contents, and then 3, and then 4, and then page 5, and so on, all the way back till we get to page 10, right? And then, so the first 10 sides or 10 pages are going to be our table of contents. And so then what we do is we turn our page, this next page, over so that we have a blank page on the left side of our notebook and a blank page on our right side of our notebook. And this is where we're going to begin our actual work in taking notes in Texas history. Okay, so go ahead and take a few minutes and get your book set up, and then you'll lay this out flat in front of you, and then we'll be ready to start taking notes in Texas history.